Hello and welcome to the United Stand. God, I actually feel nervous about doing this show. It's one of the worst. I never feel nervous, but it's almost like reacting to a loss after that weird result against Arsenal. Really weird, but loads to get on, and I want to whiz through it and get your opinions as per usual. So smash the like button and get involved. But first of all, am I Mourinho in? Well, are you Mourinho in or out? I mean, why does my opinion matter any more than yours? And this is what I'm going to say in a minute. It's all. Football is about opinion. The Manchester United Stand is a fan channel set up to give fans opinions. That's it. It's not I know better than Mourinho. It's not you know better than Mourinho. It's not we know better than the press about transfers. It's a fan channel, pure and simple. And all I would say is if you've got an opinion, stick to your opinion, but don't go around trying to convince other people that your opinion's better than theirs, because it's their opinion. That's what makes football brilliant, is that everybody will have a different interpretation of things. Am I Mourinho in? Am I Mourinho out? I keep getting people telling me on Twitter, on YouTube, you're clearly Mourinho out, you're just pretending. I'm not Mourinho out. I'm Mourinho in. I'll tell you when I'm Mourinho out. And I don't think I will be Mourinho out. What I would say is, last night was probably the lowest I've been in this Mourinho reign because of the Fellaini thing. And that's a personal thing to me. You don't have to agree with that. I'm absolutely gutted that Fellaini's staying at this club. I'm gobsmacked, gutted, and appalled by it. But that's my opinion. If you hate that opinion, that's fine. If you love that opinion, then we agree. I'm not going to impress that on you. I don't really want to talk about Fellaini in this video. What I want to say is that I am Mourinho in. What he's done with Fellaini has absolutely destroyed me, and a few other things have disappointed me. But I liken it to politics. If you vote Labour, Tory, Green Party or anything like that, and you've voted them all your life, you're not going to just change because of well, you might do, but a lot of people don't change just because they disagree with a party's policy. So, you know, if you are a Labour fan and they do something around immigration that you totally disagree with, you might move off, but you actually might say, I'm not going to move away from something that what I believe in, but I disagree with that policy. And I'd say with Mourinho, I'm like that. I am Mourinho in, but I don't agree with everything he does. And on the Fellaini thing, I'm opposite. You know, I'm opposite. You know, but it could be the worst manager in the world. It could be. Yeah, it could be Wenger. Wenger could say, I'll come and manage Manchester United and I'll sell Fellaini straight away. It's the first thing I'll do. Well, I'd love that policy of Wenger's, but I don't like any of his other policies, so I don't want him. I like a lot of what Mourinho is. I just disagree with him on the Fellaini thing big time. I really don't agree with it. So I am Mourinho in. I am concerned. I think we're going to come back to this in a minute, but the thing about yesterday is it's very easy to get drawn into this Fellaini argument, and I think Mourinho has done that on purpose. Because actually, the big thing from yesterday for me, and we'll get into it in a minute. In fact, we may as well do it now. The big thing that got on my nerves about it yesterday is, let me just do this, because I like to do this. I like these. So, Pogba, Sanchez. So, Pogba is the bottom one, and Sanchez is the top heat map. So, look, Fellaini came on, we went long ball, we won the game. Anyone going to disagree with that? The problem with Manchester United yesterday, the substitution of Martial and Fellaini actually won us that game. Martial played very well. Looks rusty. Admittedly, his final ball wasn't great, but he needs minutes for that. And Fellaini scored the winner. So the substitutions in the minute 26 minutes they were on, you can't argue with that. It's the bigger picture, isn't it? With Martial and Fellaini, is one going to be sold? We're begging one to stay. That's the issue with them. The bigger picture for yesterday for me was how this is Mourinho picking his strongest team against Arsenal, like he did against West Brom 2 weeks ago, and then putting in the same performance. That front six, forget the back four because that changes a bit with his centre-backs, but that front six, Mourinho has nailed his flag to the mast. That's my front six. Herrera, Matic, Pogba, Sanchez, Lukaku, Lingard. I don't agree with that six, but I like the consistency that Jose Mourinho is giving. But the big alarm for me yesterday was that... Sorry, I've got hiccups now. That's a bloody disaster. The big alarm for me yesterday was that team didn't perform. They didn't perform. They didn't show up. They didn't perform, and that's his first 11, and that's a real big concern for Manchester United because that's, you know, Fellaini's late winner takes us away from that. But the reality is that didn't turn up. And as we look at this again, the same issue that we thought we got rid of. You know, we applaud Jose for what he did against Spurs. The top heat map there is Alexis Sanchez, and he is obviously, as you can see, he's coming inside again. His hottest area is in the heat area of Pogba's in the one below. He is not hogging that touchline at all. He is coming inside. Sanchez is coming inside again into Pogba's area. And it's no surprise to me that yesterday, all right, Pogba scored a goal and Sanchez got an assist, but that's one phase of play in 94 minutes that they did. I thought Pogba and Sanchez were poor yesterday. I wouldn't go as far as what Sophie said on the fan cam that Pogba was dreadful, but I thought Sanchez was dreadful, and I think Pogba's game faded off after the goal. Why? Because as you can see from the top heat map, you can see where is Sanchez the hottest. It's exactly in the area that Pogba is. And that is a problem that Manchester United keep having. And again, we can highlight this again because when Martial comes on, where's his heat map? He's hogging the left-hand side. Hogging that left-hand side. Sanchez coming inside. Martial hogging the left-hand side. And this is something that probably got forgotten about from yesterday, that has not been spoken about because we're all wrapped up in this Fellaini thing and the football being bad. But actually, the football was... It's Mourinho's first team that's letting him down. Too many touches again. Too many silly flicks from the same players. Pogba, Sanchez are culprits. Lingard was a culprit. Lukaku was a culprit. Matic was a culprit. I think the only player I remember who gets the ball and moves it quickly is Herrera. Everybody else of that front six, they want an extra touch. They're doing little flicks. Not Matic, to be fair, but Matic takes too many touches for me. But that's his first six. And we've gone back to West Brom again yesterday with our first team, and that's what worries me more than anything next season. Is this front six apparently, but they're just not good enough. And this one will this is just a highlight for anybody. That's the Fellaini heat map, red on the penalty box, because for 26 minutes that's what we did. Martial on the left, Fellaini in the box, hit long balls into the box, and we won the game because of that. But that just highlights to you what Fellaini's job was. Go and stand in the box and get on the end of long balls into the box, crosses, whatever. And it worked, and we won the game. And but for me, the more important thing from that game was that his first team failed to deliver for the second time in a row at home. His preferred front six, or his preferred front three of Lingard, Sanchez and Lukaku were crap yesterday. And they were crap against West Brom as well. And that's what needs highlighting, because you've got Rashford and Martial, fan favourites, who are chomping at the bit, who when they come on, they look really good, but they're rusty. I'm not going to give them 10 out of 10s, they're probably 7 out of 10s, but they're very rusty because they're not getting the minutes. And that's a failure on Mourinho's part. But I do also defend Jose, because he's picking a team, he's being consistent with it, but they're taking too many touches on the ball. We're so slow at moving the ball forward, we're so slow on the ball. They're not moving it quick enough, and Mourinho has come out and said that numerous times, but it's a concern. United, I can list off our best games of the season have been away. Arsenal, Watford, Man City, Spurs at Wembley. Our best games this season have all been away from home. At home, with the home advantage, at the Theatre of Dreams, we should be annihilating teams on the front foot, and we struggle at home. I don't know why we're so lethargic. We're really lethargic about it, and that is a problem for United at the moment. And Jose Jose has to take some responsibility for it, but the players they've got to deliver. And also, just very quickly I just want to mention Lukaku. This is something I've said all season, and a lot of people in the live comments have said as well. The Lukaku situation now is a joke. I don't think Lukaku played very well yesterday, and I think over the season he's had bad games and bad moments, but he's had a fantastic season. But I have said a few times, why doesn't he take Lukaku off with 20 minutes to go in games that we've got won? Why doesn't he rest Lukaku in games that we don't really need him to play? He did it the same with Zlatan last year. Plays them. What happened to Zlatan? He did his knee. What's happened to Lukaku? He's potentially done his foot. Now, I don't think it's going to be too serious with Lukaku, but he'd probably miss the next couple of games. But then you throw in Rashford in, who's had no time up front this season. He's hardly played up front at all. He's going to be rusty. Whereas if we'd been giving Rashford 10, 20 minutes every game, he'd be sharp. And I have said that. And like Lingard yesterday was atrocious, wasn't he? Lingard was rubbish yesterday. He was rubbish against West Brom, but we know he'll play against Brighton because Lingard can do anything and he gets picked. Martial or Rashford have a bad 20 minutes. They won't be playing for 3 games. And I think he needs to rotate that front 3 more because they're letting him down. West Brom at home, Arsenal at home. There's no excuses. He goes with his strongest team and they don't produce the goods, and they must do better. And I firmly believe that. I really do. Anyway, talking about banter, talking about football, this was the thoughts of Robbie after the game. There's a bit of that. Look, football's about opinion. Football is life and death. But football is also about respect, I believe, and society is also about respect. And I'm just going to say this as well. I've had a lot of stick over the last sort of few hours since the game yesterday because my reaction to the Fellaini goal didn't fit the top red criteria of jumping off and throwing my top off. As I said 20 minutes before, if we win this game with a long ball into the box and Fellaini wins it, we don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. It's just luck. It's boring. It's not the United way. So when we scored the goal, I didn't jump up and go mad. We were 2 minutes off an embarrassing result. I didn't jump up and go mad because I'd already made my mind up that that was a terrible performance and things needed addressing in my mind about United. And I've had enough of these results over the years where Fellaini comes on with his long ball football and rescues 3 points, and that is not going to win us a title. I think for me, and there's a lot of fans who agree with me and there's a lot of fans who don't agree with me, but to be honest with you, I will not be criticised for the way I react to goals. That's my personal opinion. If you disagree with it, that's fine, but do not tell me how I should react to goals. Do not tell me how I should have my opinion. There's one thing constant in my life, and there's probably one thing constant in your life. I will not turn my back on Manchester United. It matters to me. I support this club, but I will not be told by anybody that my reactions aren't good enough or my opinions aren't good enough, and neither should any of you. This channel was built on opinion. It was built on creating a community and a forum for people to share their opinions and respecting those opinions. And this goes out to society as well. Never, ever, ever, ever let people tell you that your opinions aren't good enough. I just think it's bloody ridiculous that just because United score a last minute winner, I should jump up and throw my top around. No, I'm not. I'd already made my mind up that that performance was abject, not good enough and concerning. Because my mindset now, and I've been very, very consistent since the international break, was we're going to finish second anyway. Let's hopefully win the FA Cup. But these last few weeks of the season were about showing the fans that we can make the progression to next season to win the title. And I saw yesterday our strongest team go out and play absolute crap for 70 minutes, and then we had to resort to long ball to win a game. That is not going to win us the title, and that was my problem with yesterday, and that's why I was so moody after the game, because I didn't box it off as beating Arsenal 2-1. I was looking at the bigger picture for next season, which is what I've been doing for the last few weeks. And City and Spurs encourage me. West Brom and Arsenal make me think, how are we going to eradicate these problems of players not getting up for games? Lazy, lethargic, too many touches, not up for it. And we've seen too much of that this season, and that's why I'm frustrated. And obviously on top of that, I don't want to talk about Fellaini, but I want him to leave. I don't like that I don't like that style of football. I don't like the last half an hour of games going long ball. I know it's effective, but I don't like it. So I wasn't particularly overjoyed with the way that we played yesterday and won that game. And second place to me, I'd rather finish fourth and be playing good football. I'm a United fan, and there are a lot of United fans out there, and I know there's a lot of people who disagree with that. I'm a United fan who is greedy, who has been spoilt, and it's a positive, but I do not accept winning at any cost. United must win in the right way. Our club has been built on tragedy, nostalgia, passion, and it's important to some United fans, and it's important to me. I cannot accept just going out and playing like that every week. It's embarrassing. And you know, if people disagree with me on that, that's fine. But it's about opinion. It's about opinion, and your opinion will be different than mine, and that is your opinion. Anyway, football is also about a bit of banter, so let's bring some in.
Might get run over by this bus here, you know what I mean?
Is that Mourinho's bus? Turn round. It's Jose Mourinho.
Remember, we got the win, you know? And you know what? I've got to say, though, the way you know we're like, we want you to stay.
Don't cut that out. Don't cut that out.
You look at Mkhitaryan, who scored today, didn't celebrate. Yeah. Big props to him.
Yeah, and you know what? And Sanchez did celebrate, and that's what I'm saying. Look at the class of the guy, Mkhitaryan. He scored that goal, great goal, and he just put his hands up and said, "Thing, what's this little idiot doing now?" Right? He didn't even score the goal, and he's jumping up and down and I was like, "Yeah, come on, man."
He could have shown a little bit more class.
Yeah, show a bit of class, man. It was Arsenal that gave you your break in this country. I was really surprised at the style of football from Man United as well.
I wasn't. Well, you know, we've played like that. Just highlights, you know, the problems that we've got.
It's strange.
And the split fan base. This is why.
Yeah, it's strange for me that, you know, you got so many good players, and the style of football is weird. You know, and I was kind of looking on that, and I was thinking, a lot of our fans call for like people like Simeone. And when you move from like Fergie to like a style like Mourinho, it'd be like us moving from Wenger to.
Does that worry you?
Simeone, I'm like, a lot of fans call for that, but would you like that when you're used to a style of, so I was surprised by the style. I mean, ultimately, it was long balls that got you over the line with Fellaini coming on. There's nothing wrong with that because it's a plan B, isn't it? So
and apparently, Fellaini's just signed a new contract as well. Mourinho's announced, so not to the liking of a lot of Man United fans.
You know what? To be fair, it is a plan B. You know what I mean? So it's a plan B. You can't argue with that. But overall, the style of football, I was like, oh, it's Man United, man. But
there we go. Some good points from Robbie, and the Mourinho bus thing did make me laugh because at the end of the day, I think that game yesterday was quite a sort of exhibition feel, and I thought the way that they treated Wenger United was absolutely fantastic. Just picking up on one of the live comments there, somebody said your reaction to the Fellaini goal was poor because if Martial had scored, you would have gone mad. And you've got a 31-year-old in December who is the epitome of long ball football, who can't pass, is slow, his first touch is a tackle, is a foul. And then you've got 22-year-old Anthony Martial, who befits everything United's always been about. Flair, excitement. So if Martial scores, I would have gone mad because it would have been justification. If Fellaini scores, I'm like, what's the future in this? What is the future in this? So, you're probably right there. Of course, Martial to me represents what United's all about. Fellaini represents what Mourinho's all about. And Mourinho won't change. He won't change. I think I've hoped that he would change, but he won't change. He's not going to start playing like Pep. That's not going to happen. He's not going to do that. He loves Fellaini because of his effort level, and he's a warrior. Now, effort level and warrior to me is, well, I'd expect that in a United shirt. Roy Keane was like that in a United shirt. Paul Scholes was like that in a United shirt, but they were also top-class footballers. Unfortunately, Mourinho is having to just go with effort level and warrior and not football ability because he hasn't got enough. He hasn't got any players who've got effort level, warrior, and top-class ability. But I said this at the start of the season, so I'll never be a hypocrite. I'm not one of those top Reds who at the start of the season called Lindelof a flop in the first month and are now saying how great he was yesterday. I was one of those Reds, because I don't call myself a top Red, I'm the same as all you, who said Lindelof reminds me of Vidic. He's going to take time to adapt to the league, but he'll be a top defender. And to me, he's got better and better and better since Huddersfield. I thought he was absolutely fantastic yesterday. And again, something that's not really been mentioned in a positive result, that Lindelof was man of the match and he was brilliant. But I feel I think he will be a good signing, and he's a Mourinho signing. I think he'll be really, really good. But what I did say at the start of the season, and I will stand by it, I said if Lingard and Fellaini are playing regularly for a first team of Manchester United, we won't win the league. And I think he's going to still continue to do Lingard and Fellaini next season. I don't think we're going to win the league, and that makes me feel really sad. And I don't want to say that because I don't want to shoot down anybody's hopes, but I don't see us winning the league next season. I don't see us winning the league because. And I'm not here. Look, what I will say about this is the Fellaini situation. Forget the player. Forget whether you like him or not. Forget whether you're distraught like me that he's going to stay. My concern about it, taking him out of the equation, is that Fellaini staying means that we've got Fellaini, Herrera, McTominay, Pogba, Matic, 5. Maybe Pereira or Fosu Mensah coming back, so let's say 6. 6 midfielders. Carrick's gone, he'll replace Carrick. He isn't going to sign 2 midfielders anymore. If Fellaini had gone, he would have signed 2 midfielders. So when we were talking Milankovic, Savic and Fabinho, we were like, that'll improve us massively. You're now talking 1. You're talking, hopefully, Milankovic, Savic or Fabinho on their own. We won't be signing 2 midfielders now. So we're only signing 1. So that disappoints me. The second thing is, and this doesn't really bother me that much, is that Fellaini's a free agent. PSG want him, if you would believe reports. Roma want him. Turkish clubs want him. So they'll offer him a lot of money. And for Manchester United to keep him, they've got to offer him a lot of money. 150 grand is being touted out. He's not a 150 grand player. But money doesn't really bother me anyway because, whatever. It is our money. But if United want to pay somebody of that ability 150 grand a week, it's a joke. But there you go. The other concern is how long's the contract going to be. United used to have a policy with players in their 30s that they would only ever give them a year deal. Greats like Ryan Giggs in their 30s were only ever given a year deal. But we're going to give someone like Fellaini in his early 30s 3 or 4 years. So that's disappointing. But the thing that annoys me the most about it is it's not that he's not effective plan B, because he is. I agree with people like, sometimes chuck him on for 20 minutes. I don't like it. It's not pretty. I'd rather not have that option. But I can understand that argument. But the big concern for me is that every United fan who backs the signing of Fellaini and is saying you've got to have a decent plan B, I think they need to get the old Nescafe out, blast a little bit of boiling water in it and have a good old sniff, wake up and smell the coffee. Because Fellaini, whether it's Turkish clubs, PSG or anything like that, whoever he's going to, he's going to go for first team football because they're going to say, come to us for first team football. Why on earth will he stay at United to be a bench option in the last 10 minutes? The only way he's going to stay at United is, like PSG or anybody else who wants him will offer him, they're going to be offering him first team football. Mourinho is going to be offering Fellaini first team football to stay because that's what Fellaini will want at the end of the day. And that's the concern. He's not going to be staying as a last 10-minute option. He's going to be staying as a first team player. And that kills the Premier League title next year. We will not win a title with a midfielder like that in the team. And even if we did, which we won't, the only way he can be effective is playing like we did in the last 20 minutes. So two things are going to happen next season if Fellaini stays, which he will. One, he's going to play regular football. Two, we're going to play long ball. And three, we won't win the league. And that's why I'm disappointed. It's nothing to do with, oh, I can't stand Fellaini or anything like that. I can't stand the footballer, can't stand his style of play. But when he signs that contract, I know what it means. Because Fellaini wouldn't stay unless he was being offered first team football. So I agree in a little bit of a way about the plan B and what a great plan B is. But he's out of contract, folks. He's not going to stay and just be a bench player. He's going to stay with promises. And United have been begging him for 4 months. Mourinho's been begging him for 4 months publicly to stay at United. You know, it's not just, please stay, Fellaini, please stay. And he's like, let me think about it. It's like, I'll stay if you pay me good money. Okay, we'll pay you good money. I'll stay if you play me in 30 games next season. Okay. So it's all about the contract negotiations, and it will be about playing first team football. And that is why yesterday I was just so frustrated. Really, really frustrated. But what I must just say is, obviously I'm imparting my opinion there. As I've said to all the keyboard warriors on Twitter today who are tapping away, calling me names and everything like that. The great thing about the United stand is that at 8 o'clock on a Monday, Skype Goldbridge, all one word, is your show. So anybody who's frustrated about it, this is your channel. This is a fan channel. You can call in tonight and you can say whatever you like. It's your. If you think Fellaini is their best signing in the world, call in. If you think that people are being really unfair about that result yesterday, call in. It's your show to do it. Don't, if you've got an opinion, instead of abusing people, call in and have your opinion. PJ Maguire thinks he's going to go anyway. He's not going. He is staying at Manchester United and he will be playing about 20 or 30 games next season, which is why I think we can't win the league. But bigger than that, well, what's bigger than not winning the league? Bigger than that, my biggest disappointment of all, my instant reaction to Fellaini signing the new contract was that we'll only sign one midfielder when I think we need two. I think we probably need three, but we definitely need two, and we're only going to get one. Matic is too slow for me, and he could get slower next year because he's hitting 30. Pogba is such a flip-flop player. He's either brilliant or just disappears. Herrera, I don't think Herrera was brilliant yesterday either, and I don't think Mourinho always sacrifices Herrera. Fellaini's Fellaini. McTominay's still a work in progress. I think we need at least two signings in the midfield. I really do. I do want to talk about Mkhitaryan for a minute because I thought Mkhitaryan was fantastic yesterday, and I know Lynn Hall's a big fan of Mkhitaryan. I thought he was fantastic, and I really did open my eyes. And I think humility is a word that really resonated with me and a lot of people who were watching the watch-along yesterday. I almost felt sorry for Arsenal. I think they deserved the points. I think their style of football was infinitely better than ours. It's a very inexperienced team, but they came to Old Trafford, they knocked the ball about fast, and they played quite good. They didn't have the talent, they didn't have the players good enough to beat us really, but their effort levels and their style was very, very good, very pleasing on the eye. And that got me thinking as well, that this is a team that's a reserve team coming to Old Trafford with a few kids in it, and they played without fear. And how many times have you lot said over the last 3 or 4 years, there's no fear factor at United? And that was abundantly clear yesterday. And that's got to fall onto the manager and the players as well. I mean, why we're just so inconsistent, and we basically let people come to Old Trafford, pass us off the park. It's embarrassing, and this is where some United fans have a problem as well. They do. We did the fan cams yesterday, and there's a lot of people in the comments expressing their opinion, and that's brilliant. But we did the fan cams yesterday, and nearly all the fan cams from people at the ground were unhappy. These are the real fans, apparently. You're not a real fan if you don't go to the game, apparently. But these are the real fans. But they're coming out and they're frustrated. So don't kid yourself that everything's rosy in the garden. If you think that, I wish I could get into that mentality 100% of the time. It's up and down for me. But there's some people who are just really not happy. And that concerns me. I've always backed Mourinho, and I do back him, but I always feel he's one result away from backlash, always, because of the style he plays. If you're winning, it's okay, but one bad result and everyone jumps on him. And this Fellaini signing, just very, very quickly, in relation to Mourinho, it's outstanding. It's absolutely, it's stunning in the leadership competence of Mourinho to sign Fellaini on a long-term contract when he knows for a fact that the vast majority of United fans want him gone, and the vast majority of United fans can't stand what he symbolises in relation to the style of football. For Mourinho to go against that is ridiculously brave. And I actually tweeted it last night, and people didn't agree with me. I think him signing Fellaini on this long-term contract is going to make or break him. He's got to get it right, and if he doesn't, it'll break him, and it will be the symbol of what broke Moyes, I suppose, in many ways. But back to Mkhitaryan. Best performance at Old Trafford, and he did it in one Arsenal shirt, despite playing there numerous times in a United shirt. But it goes back to what I was saying before. Mourinho's not going to change. Mourinho is not going to suddenly let the horses run free and get us playing like Pep Guardiola. I don't think he's capable of getting us playing like Klopp or Pep. You know, they're teams that press, get the ball back, press, pass. As it's been said so many times, United bottom of the league for distance covered. We're not press. We get the ball, we retract. We lose the ball, we retract. We get the ball and we slowly work our way up the pitch, and the opposition sort themselves out. Which is why Fellaini is such an effective tactic for United, because I wish I'd said this earlier actually. Fellaini is so effective for Manchester United for one simple reason. Because when United get the ball, they move it forward so slowly, the opposition have already got their two banks of four. They're organised, so you can't really pass through them quickly because they're organised. So the only thing you really can do is chuck a decent ball into the box and have somebody big to get on the end of it. Long ball. And that's why he's effective, because we're so slow, we don't move quick enough to pass through people. But you look at Mkhitaryan yesterday for Arsenal, they're countering quick, there's a lot of space for him, and he's doing little 1-2s, he's shifting it around, he's exploiting spaces. You look at him in a United shirt, he's always against that two banks of four, there's no space, it's very static, it's very lethargic. So you saw the contrast with Mkhitaryan yesterday, and I still think Mkhitaryan's a bit of a big game bottler, and I still think he had to leave United. But he had to leave United because he didn't fit our slow style of football with no space in the final third. He suits Arsenal, who move the ball quickly. He'd probably suit Liverpool, probably as a bench player, because I don't think he'd get on ahead of their front three. And he'd probably be a bench player for City as well. And he'd probably play for Spurs because they are moving the ball quickly. So it surprised me, Mkhitaryan, yesterday, because I wasn't totally sure he can handle it in the Premier League. But he showed that he could. So he was good. Mkhitaryan was very good yesterday. And, I think that is something that Jose's got to take his medicine on, because we saw that he can play well. If Mourinho sells Martial and keeps Fellaini, I'd rather Mourinho kicks out a few of my teeth. It would be the same pain anyway, says Luke Skywalker. Well, we are keeping Fellaini, and that will disappoint some people, but we are. Martial, I'm hoping we stay. I mean, for me, Martial yesterday was brilliant when he came on. I know it was only 26 minutes. His final ball wasn't good, but that's rusty. He was like that against Bournemouth. He needs minutes, but he was infinitely better than Sanchez and Lingard, and he's got to start playing games. The same for Rashford. I thought Martial was good yesterday. He just needs to play more games, and I really do. I've said that so many times. I've said it so many times. But we must stop saying transition. I'm bored to death of people saying transition. We're not in transition. You can't be in transition when you're spending £300 million. You can't be in transition when you've been here 2 years. We are progress. We are progression. We are not transition. Transition is a lazy excuse to, we shouldn't be expecting to get to the latter stage of the Champions League. We shouldn't be expecting to win the Premier League. It's a long transition. We're not in transition. Transition is not 2 years with that amount of money and the players he's got at his disposal. What we are is progress. What Mourinho is doing is defying logic. A lot of people say, how are Manchester United second? They're the worst second place team ever. But we are second. You can't lie. We can finish the season with 86 points. Which is outstanding. I don't know how we've managed to do that, but Mourinho has defied logic in that sense. But what he's also defying is the United way. And I think if he was manager of Stoke or Chelsea, they'd be very happy with where they are because they will take winning over everything. The unhappy thing, the divide at Manchester United, and he will always have this issue, and Fellaini will compound it, and selling Martial would compound it, and keeping playing this style of football will compound it, is, and I don't know whether Jose understands it, and I don't know whether the board understand it, but they should, because the history is very recent and it's there for everybody to see. And I don't think some fans understand it, and I respect that. You know, there are some fans who, they'll take a result like yesterday and say, well, we won, why are people moaning? That's not a definitive answer. Not everyone should jump on your bandwagon of, oh, we won, so nothing's wrong. There are fans out there who are like, well, yeah, we won, but that was boring. That was atrocious. That's not the style of football we should be playing. And as I said, it's greed, but it's a positive greed, because United's style of play is based on, it's not an ideology, it's a history. It's a way of, it's what the club represents. It's like Robbie said on that video. I was surprised at Manchester United's style of football. I was surprised that you've got all these good players and you play like that. And that's the thing. All our rivals are very happy, but they are surprised. They're surprised at how we've gone into this like conservative, slow footballing team when the Theatre of Dreams was self-entitled because of the football we used to play there. Lucas says, shout out for Flex for a great job on the fan cams. The fan cams were brilliant last night. I really enjoyed the fan who said, I've had Mourinho can go. Not because I agreed with his opinion, but because he's clearly been, a bit like Andrew Ellis in the live comments, he's been very consistent with his opinion, and he put it across very eloquently yesterday. I didn't agree with it, a lot of it, but I thought it was a really good opinion. I'd love to get him back on again weekly, because when we win, I want to see what he thinks there. I'm not worried by the Fellaini signing. Jose's cutting his own throat, says Gazel Cesar. Technically, you're probably right, Gazel, because if he does stay, I want to be proved wrong on this, but I don't think we can win the league next year if Fellaini stays, because he will play a lot of first-team football. And if we don't win the league next year, I think Mourinho will be forced out of the club. Not by the fans. I just think, where would the progress be next year if we don't win the league? Because second, it's got to be first, hasn't it? And I just think that I think the gap to City is massive on so many levels, and I don't feel like we're going to spend a lot of money this summer at the moment. I think left back and a midfielder are the only two I can really nail my hat on that we are going to sign. Anybody else, I'm like, are we really going to sign another centre back? Are we going to get a right back? Are we really going to sign an attacker? I think it's going to be a midfielder and a left back, and that might be it. Momentum Stock says City are going to run away with it again tomorrow, next season. Well, for us to win the title next year, we've got to have a massive uplift, and City have got to have a big drop off. And that can happen, but for us to have that massive uplift, we've got to improve our midfield massively and our way of playing massively. And City would have to have that big drop-off. And I don't see retaining, because Fellaini's 31 in December, Young is 33 in the summer, I think, Valencia's 33. I mean, I've said this so many times, it's a one-shot lottery for next season, because this time next year, there'll be 4 or 5 players that are massively on the decline in our squad. It's next year or never, really. But it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I don't feel as fed up as I did yesterday. And a lot of that was because of the Fellaini thing. Because, you know, I don't make rash decisions. They're based, if you watch the United stand, you know I'm quite consistent about what I say. And I did say at the start of the season, we can't win the league with Lingard and Fellaini playing regularly. And we haven't. And I see that happening again next season. And I think they're both good squad players. Don't think that. I'm not saying that. They are good squad players. But first team players, you can't win a league with those two. I love Chris Smalling. I don't think you can win a league with Chris Smalling playing regularly either. You've got to have your strongest team playing week in, week out, which is what Man City have had. You know, you've got to have Bailly and a good centre-back playing for 90% of your season. You've got to have a better left-back than Ashley Young. You've got to have a midfield 3 that has got balance. And Herrera, Matic and Pogba are the closest we've got to that. And the front 3 can't afford to have Lingard and Sanchez going missing in consecutive home games. So, you know, I've already named 4 or 5 issues there. Not to mention that we're probably going to play a lot of long ball next season as well. I just think we are like a chameleon, aren't we, as a football club? We've been very successful this season in relation to the results we've got, but we never batter anybody. We grind every result out. You know, whether it's Liverpool wins at home, Chelsea at home, Arsenal win at home, City away, They're grinding out results. It's by 1 or 2 goals all the time. It's never comprehensive. You know, you'll see Liverpool or City batter teams. We never batter anyone because Mourinho's like a chameleon. He adapts to whatever the environment is. So even if it's Arsenal reserves, well, we're not going to beat them 5 or 6-0 like we should do. We'll nick it. Like, we'll grind out a 2-1 win with a long ball into the box that deflects in. And that's what United do. I don't believe you can win a 38 game season grinding it out. You've got 10, 15 of those games. You've got to go and win it. You've got to have it won in the first 20 minutes. You've got to go and obliterate teams and then take your foot off the pedal for the next game, like City have. I mean, City had this title won at Christmas, and they are beatable, but they go out, impose themselves fast and attacking on teams, get a game won, and think about the next one. United, every game we play is a battle in itself. It's like a cup final in itself. It's a grind. You can't grind out games, 38 games, and win a season. You can't do it because it's too tiring. It's too much mentally, and United are like that. That's why we don't beat teams. I don't think we've ever won 5-0 under Mourinho. I think we did a couple of 4-0 FCs, didn't we, at the start of the season? God knows where that went, but certainly for the last 6 months of the season, it's just grind, and you can't win a title like that. You've got to be able to go to Huddersfield and win 3 or 4-0 in 4th gear. You've got to be able to go to Newcastle and win 2 or 3-0 in 3rd gear. And that's how you win a title. And United just don't blow teams away. And until we start doing that, I can't see us winning a league. I don't want to say definitely we're not going to win the league next year because there's too many if, buts and maybes. But at the moment, I don't feel we can win the league next season. And that really makes me sad because how many years is it then since we've won one? But hopefully, Mourinho's fully aware of all this. Hopefully Mourinho sat there in his office today having exactly the same thoughts and conversations and heat maps and thinking, why is my first team unable to turn up at Old Trafford in his own mind? I'm sure he is. Anyway, please everybody drop a like on the video. That would be fantastic. And remember tonight at 8 o'clock it's the Skype show. And I bloody hope, rather than abusing on Twitter, you actually call in and have your say tonight. I don't want to just hear people saying the same thing as me because apparently there's a lot of people who don't agree with that sort of opinion. So call in tonight, Skype Goldbridge, all one word, and let's have a really good show. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Smash that like button before I go, mate, for everybody. We play like West Brom, not Barcelona, says Cheese Bella. We need to be more consistent, says Mercy Edward. That's a sign for next season. Jose is so wrong for this club, deluded manager. David says, you worry about Arsenal reserves. Have you forgotten how United got smashed 4-0 by a Championships team in the Carabao Cup under Van Hel? And they will win the league again next year. City are too strong, says Dutch Hakes. Moyes was Fergie's worst ever tip, says Rob C. I was saying that to Drawty today, this morning actually. We've never recovered from the Moyes. We've never recovered from Moyes. That is what has killed us. We've never ever recovered from Moyes at all. And I mean, he cleared out the backroom staff. He signed Fellaini. He could have got Thiago. He got Fellaini, and we went from a team that had been winning. We went from a team that had been winning titles consistently to a team that, you know, is just not intimidating at all at Old Trafford, and it's a crying shame. Anyway, there's a few super chats I need to read from yesterday. Firefire 999 says, Mark, you can't be Jose in then slam him. Subs that win. Well, I think I've explained that already, Firefire. I mean, I am Mourinho in, but I am concerned. And United aren't consistent because the system isn't, says Tube L. Jeff Carming Tam says, we should never buy Alexis. He can't play on the right. And Orison says, why do you blame Mourinho for his well-known tactics? Blame the club for hiring him the first place. Interesting. James K says, Mark, Mourinho has just said to the BBC Fellaini is close to signing the new contract, which we know. And Luke Skywalker, if Mourinho sells... Oh no, we read that one already. And I've been on the fence about Mourinho, says Jose, but he's not inspiring any confidence. He's the best coach, but not so good manager, and that's our problem. If you haven't watched the fan cams from last night, there's some really good ones. Sophie, DT, Troops. But thanks everybody for watching. Do drop a like on the video. I know it's a weird time. I actually feel better today than I did yesterday. But I'm not going to apologise for yesterday, but I'd sort of made my mind up before that goal went in, what I felt. And the Fellaini thing for me is just a massive disappointment because he's going to play regular first team football, because that's what he's going to be. That's going to be the lure to sign the contract. He's not signing a new contract with Mourinho saying, but you'll be a bench player and I'll only use you in the last 10 minutes if I need to in the games where we're losing or drawing. He's going to be, I want you to stay because you're a big part of my plans. You're going to play regularly in the first team. And Fellaini will be like, yeah, where do I sign? That is what concerns me about it, because we won't sign a midfielder that's better than him, and also we'll be playing that player who is slow, can't pass, can't move with the ball, whose first touch is a foul, and we're going to play long ball. And that's what we've got to look forward to next season, and that's why yesterday I was so disappointed. And, you know, that's why I didn't really celebrate the goal that much, because, you know, I sort of felt sorry for those people who were going, yeah, Fellaini scored, Messi Fellaini, yeah, we beat Arsenal reserves 2-1 in the last minute of the game, yeah, brilliant, yeah. Because, you know, in my mind I was thinking, we've got this to come next season, and that's not going to win the title, so it's another season wasted. It's only my opinion though. That's what I was thinking yesterday. It's another season wasted. It's another season without a title. It's another title probably for City. It's another Champions League we're not going to win. But hopefully I'll be proved wrong. Hopefully I'll be proved wrong. He says with a wry smile. Thanks everyone for watching, and prove me wrong tonight, 8 o'clock. Skype Goldbridge, call in. It's going to be your show. I'm looking forward to it, because I know there's a lot of different opinions, and you know, that's what the United Stand is. I'm just a voice giving my opinion, reading your comments. If you disagree with it, this is the channel to disagree with it on. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.